The Arizona Cardinals had a dominant victory in Week 9, and now they get to host Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 10 matchup between the New York Jets and Arizona Cardinals. But before we do that, Ryan and I, we can't believe that we're saying this, but we are 200 subscribers away from 5,000. Thank you to all the new members to the channel for helping us get so close to this goal. Let's see if we can hit 5,000 with these Week 10 prediction videos that we have going out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. So, Cardinals fans, I'm going to brag on Ryan and I for a little bit here. We've been calling this for, I think, this entire year, saying, like, hey, this Cardinals team, man, and even going back to last year, they're fun to watch. Jonathan Gannon's got them playing well. And now, 9 games into the season, Arizona Cardinals are leading the NFC West. They control their destiny. It's great to see. I think they're fun to watch. It's good to see Kyler Murray come back out as well. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. in my dynasty league, so I want them to throw the ball to him more. Also, he shouldn't fumble as well as he had a fumble today. But in general, though, they're pounding the rock. They dominated the Bears today. They're going to be going up against a Jets team as well who have a good defense. And they're coming off a much-needed win for this team here. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams finally connected on a touchdown. Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. You're the AFC East guy as well. What do you think the Jets did right in their Thursday night football game against the Texans? And what do you think they need to do to come out with a victory against the Cardinals team?
Yeah, I mean, kind of starting with the Jets, I think that they started finding to pick their matchups. I mean, they have just elite weapons in Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, and they finally kind of were just like, all right, we're just going to spread everybody out, and then we know our guys can win their one-on-one matchups. We know they can find the zones and sit in them, and Garrett Wilson, I think, really benefited from that. Devontae Adams made some plays too as he's getting assimilated into that Jets offense. So all in all, I think this Jets team, they need to continue to pick their matchups. Getting Breece Hall and Braylon Allen involved early also, I think, is going to help this offense continue to roll. And then this front seven for the Jets is pretty good. I believe C.J. Mosley is out for the rest of the year, but this is still a really good front seven. Getting after the passer is something that they do really well. They're pretty good against the run also. So this is a really good Jets team on paper. It just hasn't quite translated in between the white lines right now. And so I like what they can do. I think they need to put themselves in more situations, though, to just win their one-on-one matchups, because I think on paper, they should be winning those. So going forward, I think that's kind of what they started to do on Thursday Night Football. I think that's what they're going to try to start to do going forward, is just put themselves in more advantageous positions in those one-on-one matchups. And for the Cardinals, I was pretty impressed with them. 3 rushing touchdowns, especially Trey McBride ran for 1, Trey Benson ran for another, and then Amari DiMercato ran for the third. And they kicked a couple field goals in the second half and got a safety. And this defense was also pretty stout. And this Bears offense has been inept on the road so far this year, but all in all, I think it's a really good performance for the Cardinals. I believe, have they strung together 3 straight wins?
I think so, yeah.
And so just continuing to kind of build on that, they're just turning into a really good football team that going to be hard to beat. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I think both of these teams are trending upwards, and it'll be a fun one.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Lions trajectory, when Dan Campbell first got there, I think they had 2 or 3 wins, something like that. Now the Cardinals had more wins last year, but in that second year, though, is when you kind of start to see them contend a little bit more, be a little more forceful. And now the Lions, a lot of that was the second half of the season when they started to take that break. But maybe the Cardinals now are starting to kind of go down that route. But in general, though, what the Cardinals are doing extremely well, though, they're pounding the rock. They're honestly playing pretty solid defense overall. Statistically, they might not rank too great as of right now. They're 25th overall total yards, passing yards as well, 21st in rushing yards allowed. But a lot of that, though, I think they had some early season performances as well. They've had a couple of big games, 400-plus yard games that they've allowed. But in general, though, I think it's not making too many mistakes and really kind of controlling the clock with running the ball, as they're one of the top rushing teams in the league at 7th as of right now. The one thing that's going to be interesting to me is how are they going to improve in the passing game as well? And obviously, Kyler Murray is that dual threat quarterback. That's not obviously what he's known for. But if they could develop a little bit more of a passing game, and as they're 25th right now, and you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who is a rookie still, but he's your third overall pick, it's going to be something I think that can make this offense almost unfair to play against because with how well they can run the ball. And I think going into this Jets matchup too, this Jets defense is actually 30th in rushing the ball, in rushing defense. And so I think it's going to be a heavy dose of that as Joe Mixon gave up. I think Joe Mixon had 187 yards on his own. 106 yards, 187 total as a team against this New York Jets defense on Thursday Night Football. But on the flip side, though, too, this Jets offense maybe, as you mentioned, starting to take some strides forward. Aaron Rodgers was able to connect with Devontae Adams. He was also able to connect with Garrett Wilson on 2 touchdowns. That's kind of why they traded for Devontae Adams, so they can have that two-headed monster that Aaron Rodgers can pick from. And if there's going to be a weakness on this Arizona team, it is just going to be in that passing game, as I mentioned, where they can give up some passing yards. And so, can they contain it? Can they provide some pressure for this Jets offense to try and slow them down? Because once again, if there's still a weakness for this team, it is going to be this offensive line for the New York Jets, and I think that's just going to be an area that they're going to have to just somehow. The Jets are going to have to manage somehow. Just throughout the rest of the season, because this Cardinals team, they do have 21 sacks as well. So big X factor is, can the Jets somehow stop the Cardinals run, make Kyler Murray have to throw the ball probably more than the team would like. On the flip side too, can the Cardinals get pass pressure so then just give it Aaron Rodgers as little time as possible to pick apart this Cardinals defense. So it's going to be a very unique matchup here because the Jets' strengths are also can exploit the Cardinals' weakness, but on the flip side then as well, the Cardinals' strengths can exploit the Jets' weakness overall. So I want to throw it over to you, Ryan. Who do you have winning this game and why?
Yeah, so originally I had the Jets coming in to this one, but especially after kind of breaking down how hot they've been as a team lately, I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to come out on top. With this rushing defense of the Jets, with this rushing offense of the Cardinals, I just think it's going to be too much. And I feel like, especially on a shortened week against the Texans, who were really banged up, especially after just losing Stephon Diggs, they only had a few days to really prepare without one of their top weapons, and they were already missing Nico Collins. I feel like that offense was heavily stifled. And I just think the Cardinals are going to be the better team in this matchup.
It's going to be close. I'm also going to go with the Cardinals here as well. I think they've been playing well. I think they play well at home. The Jets, I think something similar to the Bears so far, just haven't traveled super well. Now, that being said, when you lose 5 games in a row, and that's going to have some of that. And one of those games too was in London. But I just think being at home, I think the Cardinals are going to be able to pull out a victory here. Have to kind of monitor. Sauce Gardner was getting a little banged up as well. DJ Reed also got banged up as well. Have to monitor their status throughout the week. I think too how well this Cardinals team can run the ball. Now, Quinn Williams is going to be absolutely an issue for this Cardinals offensive line. That being said, though, the Bears have a lot of good guys on the defensive line, and that did not stop them at all. So I think there's going to be ways that they can still go manufacture that running and still go get 130 rushing yards total as a team or something like that. And hopefully open things up a little bit more in the passing game, especially too if some of their key secondary guys are not going to be able to play. And on the flip side, I still just feel that this Jets offensive line is going to be a liability. And I think if they're able to provide pass pressure, Jonathan Gannon is going to be able to scheme up some ways to make Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable and make some mistakes. So I think it's going to be a fun game. I will say I think this might be a little bit of a higher scoring game. I'm going to go with a 31-28 Cardinals victory.
Yeah, I'm going to go 35-24 for the Cardinals. I think they literally and figuratively run away with it there at the end. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. We are both taking the Cardinals. Go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment as well on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the New York Jets? Will it be the Arizona Cardinals? And that we'll see you guys next time.